Well, it's about time that I did a lesson from singer-songwriter Gordon Lightfoot. He was a prolific songwriter throughout the 70s with such monster songs and hits as If You Could Read My Mind and today's song, Sundown. Bit of a dark song, was written during a dark period in his life when he was having a few problems with alcohol and drug addiction. And one of the reasons for those problems was the character the song was basically written about, Kathy Smith, more infamously known for injecting John Belushi with his fatal drug overdose. So it was a bit of a dark song, a lot of feel in this one, but a #1 hit throughout North America. Here's Gordon Lightfoot's haunting, Sundown. Well, it never ceases to amaze me the chording that I find jaunting around on the internet. I find this one most often shown as being played in the key of E. So the chords are all based around that, around the E chord. I've also seen it in C, which is really an unusual key for this song. I haven't seen it in the key I'm going to show it to you today, but the actual key is F sharp. Here's where the song is played. I can see her lying back in her satin dress in a room where you do what you don't confess. Now, I watched Gordon Lightfoot play this live, and he cheated a little bit and played it in G. He actually used a capo and played some D chords and stuff, but I was pretty happy with the G decision. It makes things a lot easier and better for us in terms of some power chords or some super chords that I want to show you here that fill out the song a little bit. So that's what we're going with. We're certainly not going with E, and we're not going with C. We're going with the key of G. So here are the chords you need. You need an open G, what I call a super G, because all I'm going to do here is take that pinky, and instead of the third just covering the G note on the first string, I'm going to flatten it out to cover the D note on the second string and the G note. Flatten it out like that. He plays a 12 string in this, Gordon does, so this helps with that sound a little bit, gives it that texture, that chord. I'm also going to suggest sort of that C sus chord, or power C if you like. So when you switch from a G in this formation to a C, it's a really simple change. You're going to leave your pinky where it is, and all you're going to do is bring those two fingers down to a C chord. So super G, super C if you like, an F major chord, an open D major chord, and we're going to throw, for flavor and feel, we're going to throw a G7 in there. A G7. So those are the 5. Got the super G, the super C, the F major, the open D, and the G7. Okay, let's take a look at the strumming pattern. Pretty straightforward here. Strum, frap, up, up, down, up, down, up. So strum, up, down, up, strum, frap, up, down, up. I can see her lying back in her satin dress in a room where you do what you don't confess. Now when I'm switching chords there, you see I put a little triplet in there. In a room where you do what you don't. You can kind of sneak that little, for accent, in a little triplet. In her satin dress in a room where you do what you don't confess. And that's pretty much the pattern. Strum, frap, up, down, up, for the whole song. Okay, well, we're going to do picture-in-picture for this, simply because I want to show you some stuff in case you're guitar partying with a buddy here. There's some... and then there's some little lead work later on, same idea up here. All that kind of stuff. I'll show you that later, but right now, for starters, let's just concentrate on the main pattern of the song, which is, it is a repetitive song. So once you learn this chord progression, and we'll put the chords on the screen, you'll be laughing. Here we go. We're going to start with, and there's a little bit of riffing at the beginning, so we're going to go to the G7. I can see her lying back in her satin dress in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you been creeping round my back stair. Sundown, you better take care if I find you been creeping round my back stair. She's been looking like a queen in a sailor's dream. So you can see that at the beginning of the song we went to that G7 to kind of go with a little bit of riffing that we might do there. And then at the end of the first verse and in between first and second verses, instead of just staying in that power G chord or super G chord, G7 in between verses as well. And that's the pattern for the song. So let's show you some of that riffing. Okay, well there's no exact science to this, but we'll show you some of the riffing that that can be used at the beginning of the song, can be kind of selectively placed into the verses as well. And here's one of the main riffs, and this is going from third, hammering up from 3rd fret of the 5th string to the 5th fret of the 5th string. And we're basing this all around 3rd and 5th frets here. So 3rd to 5th, then 3rd to 5th on the 4th string, and then 3rd fret on the 3rd and 2nd strings. Back to the 5th fret of the 4th string. And that's a pretty standard riff that's found throughout the song. And you can play around with it, reverse that, inverse that, that sort of thing. But that's pretty standard. And it comes up later again up here. This time we're up on the 10th and 12th frets of the 4th string. And that's actually part of the lead solo. That kind of stuff, just playing around with that. Another little riff is this little blues riff that you can put in here. And you can fit that in sometimes when you're switching to the D chord. Just that little interval there. And again, you know, 2 guitar players works better, so the strumming can continue on the D while the other guys just... But anyway, that little riff is barring with my 3rd finger the 12th fret of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. A couple picks down on those 3 strings, and then pick down on the 10th fret bar of the same 3 strings. But the trick is I now have to hammer up on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. So it's bar, bar, bar hammer, bar, bar, bar hammer. And you can just finish that riff off by playing the 12th fret of the 4th string. So that's another little riff you can throw in there. Here's another one you can kind of put in here in spots, and it's just a matter of bending up on the 3rd string, 6th fret, and then we're going 3, 5, 3, 5 on 3rd and 4th strings. But this starts with we start with the bend. We don't pluck the note till we're bent. Okay, another little riff you can put in there. Okay, I just wanted to give you a couple little pointers on some of the guitar work that's in the middle of the song here, a little guitar soloing if you like. And the first little bit is this Okay, and that's just 10th and 12th frets on the 4th and 3rd strings. Hammer up on the 4th. Okay, and then the bend up on the 11th fret of the 2nd string. That repeats, and then he plays around with it. That kind of thing. The next little bit is inaccessible on most guitars, so it's way the heck up here, and you can't get your hand in there. So I'm just going to suggest this, and that's just 10 and 12 on the 1st string, up to 15. Couple times through that, and then I would just finish it off by coming back down here. This is what he does, and goes back down to this little box here. You'd end up on the G chord, so you're back into the rhythm. So again, just 3rd and 5th frets, and there's a little sneak a little B flat note in there, 6th fret of the E string. Okay, so those are the 3 little components that I'm suggesting you play around with for some guitar work in the middle of the song. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see her lying back in her satin dress, in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you been creeping round my back stair. Sundown, you better take care if I find you been creeping round my back stair. She's been looking like the queen in a sailor's dream, and she don't always say what she really means. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. I can picture every move that a man could make. Getting lost in her loving is your first mistake. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stair. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again. I can see her looking past in her faded jeans. She's a hard-loving woman, got me feeling mean. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stair. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stair. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again. Okay, fine tuning for Sundown. A couple little errors to tell you about here that I kind of messed up with, and so I should fess up to that. And one is the spot in the song where I inserted the guitar work, the little 8-bar break. And it really should come in after the I Can Picture Every Move a Man Could Make verse and before the I Can See Her Looking Faster in Her Faded Jeans verse. That's where the guitar work truly comes in the song. And I put a note there in the video. The other thing I messed up on is that it's actually 12 bars of guitar work in there and not 8. So when you're playing around with some of the stuff you can improvise for a guitar solo there or guitar work, keep in mind that the original song had 12 bars there, not 8. Other than that, keep the strumming nice and loose. The original tempo of this song was about here. I can see her lying back, about there. It's a little slow for me. If you watch Lightfoot do it live, in some of his live versions, it's up here a little bit. So I did pick up the tempo a little bit for you on this one. All right, Gordon Lightfoot, Sundown. You better take care. We'll see you next time on Song Mentor.